So am I good? Hi. So as you guys know, my name's Goshamaka, and today I want to pay a tribute to someone who's usually underappreciated in our society, that being teenagers. As a teenager myself, I've noticed a lot of hate surrounding us from adults and teens. We're described as lazy, overprivileged, annoying, media obsessed. And from my experience, this is not true. So, to start off, I want to talk about teens that are making a big impact in the world. So, according to the article, these 14 teens inventors built a glove that translates sign language and other solutions. There's so many teens that have been doing something amazing. And I just want to talk about a few of them here. Colorado born Ryan Patterson invented a glove that can translate sign language as you're signing into speech. Texas native Param Jaggi created a device called an algae mobile, which you can put on your car exhaust that can convert the gas and exhaust into oxygen to lower pollution. And Indian resident Arsh Shah Dilbagi created a device that converts your breath into words for those who cannot speak. And yeah, so those are just a few of countless teenagers that have been doing something huge. But I don't want to just talk about, inventors that are seen as the anomalies or the small group. So I want to talk a little about my personal experience with teenagers. In high school, I was part of a club called Social Action Club. And the remarkable thing about the club was its members. One member of the club went on to graduate high school and became an activist in college, walking in speech to raise awareness for rape victims, going to rallies to support the LGBT community. Another two members of the club actually founded a nonprofit here in Palos Hills called Epic. And they do so many different projects. They partner with the Shed Aquarium to help clean forests of dead trees. They cleaned up the Indiana dunes, wrote letters to veterans. And these aren't just the only people I've met. I've met religious teenagers, met atheists, I've met potential math teachers, neurosurgeons, physicists, writers, artists, and they all don't fit the stereotype of being lazy or unproductive. In fact, they use social media to get ahead, to publish their artwork and their writing. So today I want to pay tribute to them and to my audience, which is mostly teenagers, that we're worth more than just, what they tell us we're worth. We can do whatever we want, and we have the opportunity to change our world in our community, in our friends, and in ourselves. Thank you.
I forgot to thank Dr. Troy Swanson back there in the back for helping to put this thing together, setting this thing up. He's the man here at Moraine Valley, and we appreciate his work. But oh my God, you see that? That's what I'm talking about. So we learned that teenagers can do whatever they want to do, and that's a beautiful thing. They don't have any rules or anybody to report to. They can just do what they want to do. Good job, Gosha. All right. So next, I'm not going to do a transition for every speaker, but I just want to make sure I thank Dr. Troy Swanson back there. So who's up next? We're going to, okay, we're going to have Dina come forth.
Hello? Can you guys hear me? Okay. Huh? A little louder? Okay, okay. My best friend's name is Sev. I wish he was here for you today. I wish he was here today for you all to meet. But I would like to introduce him anyway. And maybe by the end of this, you will feel a fascination with him. You will feel the same fascination with him that I feel towards him every single day. Sev is shy, which is incongruous with the size of a man that he is, standing wide and solemn at 6'3". His carriage is contained, self-conscious, and his eye contact never exceeds its necessities. He has always reminded me of a shark, massive but silent and more unassuming than he could ever be frightening. But he is not docile. And like that shark, at any hint of adversity, he is brave and vicious. He is also very intelligent. the most intelligent person I ever knew, and I think of myself as a relatively competent person. But even with that, he'll leave my head spinning with all of the vast and broad topics that we'll talk about together. But he never makes me feel lowly, and it never feels pretentious. He is patient, the most patient teacher that I ever had, and will spend hours past his point to help me understand anything more clearly because he feels that I'm capable. And while he teaches, he also listens so that we learn from one another. Sevio is kind, but that's not just what makes him such a valuable and genuine friend to me. People who don't care about you will bullshit you, and they'll protect you from your deepest fears so you'll never overcome them, or all the sticky and weird things that you don't like about yourself. But Sevio's provided that push for me so that I can become better. He is assertive but never cruel, and kind but not a liar. Besides all that he does for me, I love him just for existing too. He is talented and funny and bewitching, and everyone who meets him likes him. I feel a sense of pride that he has allowed me so close inside it all. He is so unapologetic about who he is and what he feels, and I aspire to reach that one day too, so that I can be the most useful version of myself for all of my friends and the rest of the world. He is a very special person to me, and it's a miracle I ever ran into him at all. With Sev's guidance, the world feels big, warm, and inviting when before it felt scary and cold. And it's not because he's lied to me about its reality, but because he's helped me believe that I am capable of taking it on head first, even by myself. He doesn't always make my life easier, but he does make it more worthwhile. And I hope you all find a friend like mine, and if you already have one, please hold on to them. Thank you.
Imagine a perfect professor, a professor that goes out of his way to help you, a professor that's always there to, assist you when you're in need. This professor I'm talking about is Professor Brian Kurth. He's one of the full-time faculty members of the math department, and he has always been there whenever I needed his help. It all started when I took Calc 1 in the fall of 2015, and I really didn't know anything in Calc. I just kind of went along with everything. I just sort of followed along. I wasn't really good at any. I really wasn't good at Calc. I just sort of placed in it. I didn't really know anything at the time, and I ended up with a C in Calc. But when I somehow moved into the honors. The honors class of Calc 2, I sort of improved. I finished with a B. He was always there to help me out. I'd always go to his office hours, and on Fridays, he went to the tutoring center so I can help out more and more students at once. So that's another reason why he's the ideal professor. Professor Brian Kurth was always organized in his lectures, and he always was willing to sort of, if anyone had a question, he would stop the lecture, and he would answer, and he would have like a deep explanation of why this was such and such. He was also a very helpful club advisor. I am the president of Math Club, and he is the advisor of Math Club. He would always provide all resources that he had available to him. Anything that was emailed to him, he'd forward to me automatically. And he would always attend all of our Math Club meetings. He would always encourage fellow faculty members to attend our Math Club meetings. Overall, Brian Kurth is a very successful professor, and I hope he keeps spreading knowledge among the higher math department. Thank you.
Who has had the greatest impact on your life? For many of us, a grandparent may come to mind, while throughout my life, the person who continues to make the greatest impact is my Nana. I'm fortunate to have grown up with her, and so today I would like to pay tribute to her. Two characteristics that make my Nana who she is her love and patience that she has for both her children and her grandchildren. Now let me tell you a little bit about my Nana. She gave birth to 3 kids with her now late husband. The grandpa I'd never met had lost his life to lung cancer on December 23, 1985. Coming from a Catholic family, Christmas continues to be joyous yet sorrowful. As a kid, she would take me and my sister up to the cemetery to visit him, and to our excitement, we got to feed the deer apples. Not only were we able to spend time with her, but she could see her beloved too. My Nana helped raise me and my sister from the moment we came into this world. As kids, we looked forward to buttered noodles and watched all the Disney movies that existed. In elementary school, we would walk to her house and play with her dogs after she brought us home, or before she brought us home. Even in high school, when she would pick us up, and if we didn't see her, you would hear her yelling your name. While she didn't have to do any of these things, she did it all out of love. Her patience, on the other hand, is constantly tested. As a Nana of 7 total, you can guess that she loses her sanity from time to time. Most times, she'll go through a whole list of names before she gets to yours when she's yelling. By then, I'm laughing hysterically at her frustration. Moments like that are the ones I appreciate. My Nana took time to teach me how to look over a garden. She encouraged me to use her recipe for lasagna. Despite testing her patience as a young kid, she remained sane when teaching me her ways. To conclude, I feel like a lot of times we don't appreciate the people in our lives when they're here. I urge you to make time for the people who mean the most to you. I adore my Nana for everything she is and the unconditional love she has to give. She has remained as patient as she can with me for the 19 years of my life. Now it is my time to be patient with her. Thank you.
A quote from Alan West reads, "We must never forget why we have and why we need our military. Our armed forces exist surely to ensure our nation is safe so that each and every one of us can sleep soundly at night, knowing that we have guardians at the gate." In my tribute to the American Armed Forces, I will notice 2 distinctions our young men and women in the armed forces make to preserve our liberties, the first being the sacrifices they take, and the second being their commitment to a cause greater than themselves. In the commitment to their cause, the men and women who submit their youth and future to a greater cause defend and preserve our nation. In order to illustrate how the military protects and preserves our freedoms, let me mention a story from a few days prior. The other day I spoke to my friend in the Army, and he was telling me all the strict honor rules soldiers in the uniform have to abide by. Simple things like listening to music, eating while walking, spitting, and walking on your phone are strictly prohibited when wearing a formal U.S. uniform. I responded that maybe if all of society lived by those kind of rules, we would have a much more respectful society. He insisted that I was wrong, that he is prohibited from doing those things just so that we can preserve our freedom to do whatever that we want. Small things such as the high standard for respect illustrate how our service men and women view American civilian life. We are protected by them, therefore we owe them our respect and our admiration. While it may seem trivial, I have an enormous respect for those who have, are, and will serve in our military. In one of the greatest countries on earth, we all should be grateful for the simple liberties that we possess. Freedom of speech, assembly, right to have arms, and autonomy are preserved thanks to our service members. While it is obvious to thank our founding fathers for a country like America, too often do we overlook our service members in consistently presently serving our military. In today's political climate, it's easy to harshly judge military spending, but Taking care of our family military members is the least we can do to support those who actively serve, especially those who make the ultimate sacrifice. In many situations, our servicemen and women pay the ultimate price. In all wars combined, 1.2 million lives have been claimed by all wars. Death is the ultimate sacrifice, and our honor for the military families should not be forgotten. In summary, the effect our military has on us can be summed up with a quote from one of my friend's grandfathers. He was a World War II veteran, and he said, "If it wasn't for us in World War II, we'd all be speaking German." Although outlandish, the underlying truth of this quote accurately sums up the ultimate payment for the rights and freedoms in America. Our servicemen and women keep us safe from the hands of injustice, no matter what the cause, and therefore they have my highest level of respect. Thank you.
I decided to go a more creative route for my tribute speech, so I decided to do a poem. This is my boss, Adrian, or kind of. I didn't have any real pictures of them, so I decided to use cartoon characters. Adrian. She's a bad mamma jamma, or so she tells me. And here's how she's helped me. 7 years ago. Sorry, wrong speech. About 2 years ago, Adrian gave me my first job, you see. Broken, battered, my heart almost shattered, she made me her student employee. She's sugar and spice and everything nice. She taught me how to walk with pride and put a little more sway in my stride. Make sure you have a theme song, she said. I have mine, find yours, and play it in your head. This is Tiana. Sri Lanka. I had a hard time finding something to rhyme with that, but she helped keep me on track. She helped me find strength like a boulder, and when she dances, I call her one shoulder. Tiana is perseverance, and perseverance is Tiana. I need another rhyme. She's like Rihanna. She knows work, 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 work. All jokes aside, from her, I learned how to come out of my shell and not hide. This is true, for I cannot tell a lie. Tiana and Adrian and Tiana, I thank you so much. You have my gratitude and helped me change my attitude. Tiana, I'll dance more, but with both shoulders. Adrian, thanks for giving me a chance. I've got to say thanks again, and I think I found that theme song. It's We Are the Champions, because it's who we are. With graduation in view, much thanks to you. I've got my wish. Thanks for making me a shooting star.